Carl?
About 2.5 years ago, I guess it was, a number of tenants in the building that I live in, many of us have been there 5, 6 years, basically got totally fed up with new ownership that had taken over a few years prior to that. It was the typical absentee landlord, in which very happy to collect the rent, very unwilling to do anything for the rent. And it was just a matter of realizing that organization and people together are the only means of power that you have. Individually, you aren't going to accomplish anything. But as an organization, there's really very little you cannot accomplish. And then very shortly after that, we got in contact with Metropolitan Tenants organization, and as they say, the rest is history. Very positive results from then on, although now it never ends. There's yet another fight on the horizon. I think it's helped immensely. In our case, for instance, let me give this a kind of an analogy. Any way you look at it, we have to look at it at this point, is that there is a constant, albeit low level, but it's still a war going on. It's a war between us and them. Okay? We can form our army. Okay? People like MTO and Jocelyn will help us form the army. But regardless of how big the army is, you got to have ammunition. And the Tenants' Rights Ordinance is that ammunition. And we have to have some to fight organizations, the Chicago Board of Realtors, etc., who have the big guns. We got to have something. And that's what that ordinance is. First of all, by having a need. I mean, the need has to be there, which is easy. I mean, there are very few of us that don't. The other thing, though, is to be aware. Don't have realistic outlook as to what's going to happen. It's going to be a lot of work. You're going to have to knock on a lot of doors. You're going to have a lot of doors slammed in your face. Because I'll give you an example of us, for example. We have an organization that's pretty well ongoing. New people that were not involved in the inception of the organization move into the building. They were not there to see the real problems. Okay, it's difficult, very often it's difficult to get them involved because everything's fine. You know, we don't want to get involved now. They don't really realize that if it weren't for this organization, if it weren't for the ordinance, these problems would still be would still be there. So the point of it is, you have to realize that it's going to be a lot of work, and probably even the most important thing, and it's the way any type of organizing works, is going to be a handful of people that are going to do all the work. And a lot of people are going to go along for the ride, and a handful of people are going to fight you every bit of the way. That's the way it always works. The point of it is, though, is that it does work. And if you have a goal that you want to achieve, if you want to have a decent place to live, you almost inevitably have to organize, and you have to demand your rights. I think it's another thing that we have to realize, and it happens in so many instances where rights are involved. The person that you're fighting says they're going to give you your rights. They ain't going to give us nothing. They're our rights. We demand our rights. They aren't doing us any favor whatsoever. We go in and we take them.
Good. Now, Antonia, you